I believe it's not okay. Although my experience at CUHS has been amazing, I've heard numerous ignorant comments along the way. I'm tired of biting my tongue. It needs to be said. This is my experience. It's not okay to tell me I don't talk black, whatever the hell that means. I understand that it is meant as a compliment, but it is everything but that. I usually reply with, "How are we supposed to talk?" in a rude face. When someone says this comment, they're indirectly saying that all black people talk as if they have a third grade reading level, and that is not okay. The message being sent is that if you're black, you couldn't possibly understand sentence structure and phonetics when you speak outside of your prescribed vernacular for your ethnic group. You must be talking white. It's very arrogant and ignorant to assume that you are capable of knowing how every black or white person speaks. What you're really doing is judging an entire people based on those you associate with, which means you need to explain your social group and pick up a book or two yourself. It's not okay to constantly ask me to touch my hair. It may not seem like a big deal to you, but I wouldn't expect you to understand. If you know me, you're probably thinking, she doesn't even care when I ask to do that, because I usually say yes and smile. You're wrong. I do care. I tolerate it simply because it's easier to say yes rather than explain why not. Starting today, no, you may not touch my hair. I'm not an exhibit at a zoo or a freak show. You might as well throw peanuts at me. Did you know that blacks used to be showcased at zoos not too long ago? There are still people alive today who were featured in the Bronx Zoo. Even though I wasn't there, it's too soon for me to surround myself with a bunch of white women petting me as if I were a dog, or they discovered a new species. I'm a human like you with growing hair coming out of my head. You may not touch my hair. It's not okay that you say the N-word and we can't. I heard this along the way with many other ignorant comments last year before we read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. People often argue that it's cool if you replace the ER with an A, but it's not okay. The N-word has hundreds of years of slavery, segregation, institutional racism attached to it. In recent decades, it's been reclaimed by black people. Some of us use it in a variety of different ways, often to refer to one another in a not-so-derogatory way. But just because some black people have reclaimed the word in everyday use or even in rap songs doesn't mean white people get to participate. White people irrevocably lost that opportunity the day the N-word coincided with lynchings, whippings, mob beatings, and police shootings. It is not okay. It's not okay to refer to black people or any other race as you people. I've heard this more than a few times at the high school, and it is not okay. You people is a synonym for the N-word, black people, and outsiders. By being an outsider to whiteness, you people suggest that blacks and other people of color do not belong in the same rooms, restaurants, and school as white people. What the hell is you people, and why do they differ from regular people? It's not okay to ask, why do black people make everything about race? This question makes me the most upset. I've read this comment multiple times on Twitter and other websites, but it wasn't until last year in English 3 I heard in person. We were casually talking about Trayvon Martin and other current events at the time when a student had to ask, why do black people make everything about race? The fact that someone was shot in a general is the actual problem. Stop making everything about race. We don't choose our flesh. White people will never understand how racism impacts the everyday lives of black people and people of color. That's because they benefit from a racial system that enshrines institutional racism and racial prejudice as the rule of law and social order. For those who want to learn before they speak, exercising empathy is a good place to start. This means taking the lead from black people, listening to their stories of racialized pain and struggle, and reflecting on the ways privilege minimizes those hidden risks for white people. If the continuing conversation about racism upsets you, take a second to imagine what it is like for the black people who deal with racism every day and who are tired of thinking and talking about it. We discuss it anyway because for us, it's not just a casual conversation, it's life. We can't simply get up and walk away from the problem.